Dear students, let's start the next series. Please follow the Telegram channel given in the description box for the daily practice papers. We'll now start the structural organization in animals. As you know, all the animals are multicellular, and these multicellular animals have many cells, and if you remember, they combine to form tissues. These tissues then combine to form organs, and later they form the organ system. So this is about the animals which are multicellular. But you also have organisms which are unicellular. So can you name some unicellular organisms? Yes. The best example is amoeba. So amoeba is a living organism with a single cell, and we compare this with a multicellular most complex organism. And who is it? Of course, it is the human being. When you see an amoeba and a man, is any similarity there? No. So amoeba is unicellular, a single cell, and we have a very complex structure made up of many cells, say millions and trillions of cells. But what are the basic functions? If I see, amoeba also digests the food, ingests the food, it also respires through the diffusion process, it also reproduces. So these structures are also seen, these functions are also seen in amoeba. What we do? Yes, we also digest, we also respire, and we also reproduce. Then how are we different from an amoeba? So in the multicellular animals, the body has a complex organization, and this organization is the cellular level of organization, the tissue level, the organ level, and the organ system level. Where in amoeba, a single cell has to perform all the functions. In our body, we have specialized structures. So when we discuss about the multicellular animals, the basic animals are the sponges, and we have the next phylum called as Cnidaria, and Hydra is the best example. If you remember Hydra, it is diploblastic with two cellular layers. But Hydra has only thousands of cells, and these cells are combined to form functions. However, in man, we have more number of cells and the body is much more complex. So when you have billions of cells, how do they work together? Let me give a very good example. Suppose you are in an LKG class where you have subjects like English rhymes, you have your Hindi rhymes, where you have the maths class called as 1, 2, 3 and all. So if you remember, in your LKG, a single teacher is handling all the subjects. The same teacher will teach you the English alphabets, the Hindi A, and also the maths 1, 2, 3. But when you reach to, say, class 6th or 7th, again you have English, again you have Hindi, and you also have maths and science. But is the same teacher teaching them? No. Why? Because the complexity has increased. As the complexity has increased, for the English, we have a separate teacher. For Hindi, we have a separate teacher. And for maths also, we have a separate teacher. So as the function becomes more and more complex, we require a proper type of organization where the division of labor can be done. Now, why we require this organization? So that the work can become more and more efficient. So as in your higher classes, the syllabus of English, Hindi and maths are completely different and they are heavy. We need separate teachers so that we can have more efficient work. The same thing applies even to the animals. As animals are multicellular, to increase the efficiency, we have different levels of organization. So now I think it is clear, right? Okay. So now we discuss about the different levels of the organization. So let's see this organization. The body is made up of many cells. These many cells arranged in a specific pattern So all the similar cells arrange in a specific pattern to form the tissues. Various tissues which have some common functions, they combine to form the organ. And then these organs are either physically or chemically interactive to each other. They form the organ system. So in the NCERT, okay, underline the sentence, two or more organs. So two or more organs which have a common function and they have interaction either by physical or chemical. So either they are chemically connected or they are physically connected. We call it as an organ system. Like we have digestive system which consists of many organs. In digestive system, the mouth, the stomach, the intestine, these are connected physically. Like we have endocrine system. Endocrine system has pituitary, pineal, thyroid, adrenal, and these are connected chemically. So when you have the physical or the chemical interaction, they form the organ system. So we have cell, cell form tissue, tissue form organ, organ form organ system. So these are the various levels of the division of labor, where we can divide the work and we can have efficiency in the work. So among all this, the most important is a tissue. So what is a tissue? Tissue is a group of similar cells along with the intercellular matrix which perform a specific function. So this organization is called as a tissue. So what is a tissue? Tissue is a group of similar cells along with its intercellular substances called as matrix, and they have a specific function. In the animal kingdom, mainly if you go for the humans, we have four basic type of tissues. And these four tissues are the epithelial tissue, the connective tissue, the muscular tissue, and the nervous tissue. The four types of tissue are epithelial, connective, muscular, and nervous tissue. Now imagine the structure of heart. Heart is an organ, and this organ is made up of different type of tissues. The outermost layer is the pericardium, which is made up of the epithelial tissue. The wall of the heart, both atria and ventricle, which is made up of the cardiac muscle, is made up of muscular tissue. In this wall, for the transport of the nerve impulse, we have the nerves called as the nervous tissue. The whole heart is filled with the blood. The blood is called as the fluid connective tissue. So you can see a single organ like heart is made up of all the type of tissues like epithelial, like the connective, like the muscular, and the nervous. Even though there are four different type of tissue and they are connected and they have a specific function. And what is the function of heart? The function of heart is to pump the blood. So all these tissue together, they help in pumping the blood. So this is called as an organ. So please remember the proper definitions. What is a tissue and what is a organ? So organs, two or more organs combined with physical or chemical interaction is called as organ system. And a group of similar cells with intercellular substances and the specific function is called as the tissue. So when we discuss about these tissues and organs, so as we discuss about the organs and organ system, we have to focus on the arrangement of these organs and also the functioning. So when we want to discuss about the arrangement and functioning of the organ system, we come across two words, the morphology and the anatomy. The morphology is called as the study of the external visible features called as the study of the form. So when I say a snake, how does it appear? The appearance of the body. So based upon that, I can identify it as a snake, as a rabbit. So this is called how the body parts are arranged. So this external appearance is called as the morphology. Then what is anatomy? Anatomy is the morphology or the study of the forms of internal organs. In case of the animal appear different outside and different inside. As you cut open any animal, you can see the inner parts have different structures like lungs, like heart, like kidney, like intestine. So these structures are present in the animal body. So arrangement of the internal organs is called as anatomy. Arrangement of the external structures is called as morphology. So let's quickly revise what is the structural organization. So structural organization, it is a property of the multicellular animals as the body is much complex. To work the body in the more efficient way, we have the division of labor. And the division of labor starts with the combination of cells which form tissue, tissues combine to form organ and organ system. The basic functions are done by the tissue. So what is a tissue? A group of similar cells along with the intercellular matrix to perform a specific function. So we have taken the example of heart, and in heart, how the epithelial, the connective tissue like the blood, the muscular tissue and the nervous tissue are involved. These tissue combine to form the organs, and few or more organs which are combined either physically or chemically will form the organ system. Definition of morphology, study of the form, the external visible features, the appearance, the arrangement of the body parts. Anatomy, when you cut open the body, the study of the internal organs, how are they arranged, is called as the anatomy. So in this chapter, we'll discuss about the morphology and anatomy of one of the animals called as the frog. So continue for the description of frog. Let's start with the frog. This topic is from NCERT 11th class, page number 80. Frog belongs to phylum Chordata. Subphylum is Vertebrata. And class is Amphibia. As you know, Amphibia means they have a doer life. So they can survive both in water as well as on land. So these are the properties of the frogs. As they belong to Amphibia, these are poikilotherms. That is, these are cold-blooded. They cannot maintain constant body temperature. As they cannot maintain constant body temperature, when we have extremes of temperature, say we have extremes of summer where the whole water will drain out and the drought will occur, and we have extreme of winter where the areas are covered by the ice. In these cases, these animals prefer to go to inactive stage called as the sleeps. The summer sleep is called as estivation, and the winter sleep is called as the hibernation. During the sleep condition, they respire only through skin. That is, the moist skin help in the cutaneous respiration during these periods. So they have a property of sleep or a resting condition where the body activity becomes minimum. The other properties of frogs are they can camouflage. That is, these animals can change color to hide from the enemies. So when we see them in the bushes, they completely mix up with the bushes. So this property is called as the camouflage. The body has a protective coloration which easily blends with the background, and this type of protective coloration is called as mimicry. So let's quickly see the properties. The frogs, they belong to phylum Chordata, they belong to subphylum Vertebrata, and the class is Amphibia, as they can survive both in water as well as on land. Animals are poikilotherm, that is cold-blooded, cannot maintain constant body temperature. So when the extreme temperature occurs, they have to go for the resting condition called as sleeps. The summer sleep is called as estivation, and the winter sleep is called as the hibernation. And must have a property of camouflage, that is, they can change the color to hide from the enemies. And the protective coloration on the body is called as the mimicry. Let's see the details of one of the most common frogs called as the Rana tigrina. So let's discuss about the frog Rana tigrina. It is also commonly called as the Indian bullfrog. As you know, the frogs have two body parts, that is, the head and the trunk. Neck is absent in the case of amphibians, and in the frog, the tail is also absent. So the two body parts are the head and the trunk. Like in all the amphibians, the skin of the frog is very smooth, that is, the scales are absent. The mucus glands are present on the skin which secrete lot of mucus, and this will keep the skin moist. The moist skin also help in the exchange of gases, that is, it helps in the cutaneous respiration process. An interesting fact about the frogs is the frogs do not drink water. Then how do they manage? In the case of frog, the slippery skin helps to absorb the water. As the skin absorbs water, the water content is maintained. Thus, they need not drink the water. So, in the frogs, they don't drink water, whereas the skin absorbs the water from the surroundings. Let's come to the other structures in the frog. As we have discussed, the frog consists of two parts, that is, the head and the trunk. Tail and the neck part are completely absent. The whole body is olive green in color. This color is mainly present on the dorsal side, and on the ventral side, it is completely pale in region. So, dorsal surface is olive green, and the ventral surface is pale, that is pale yellow in color. The dorsal side also have irregular spots. So on the dorsal side, on the olive green region, we also find some irregular spots are present. Let's quickly see the other parts. The front part of the head is triangular, which consists of your mouth, a pair of nostrils are present, large bulged eyes are present, one pair. Eyes are also covered by the eyelids. And in the frog, one special character is nictitating membrane. This nictitating membrane will prevent the eyes while swimming. So they will cover the eyes during the swimming process. So the structures are mouth, nostrils, eyes in the head region. And behind the eyes, you can find a structure called as tympanum. So the eardrum part is called as the tympanum. So behind the eye, we find the eardrum region called as the tympanum. This is used to receive the signal. So the head region consists of the parts like the mouth, the nostril, a pair of bulged eyes with eyelids and the nictitating membrane, and behind the eyes, the eardrum called as the tympanum. So these are the parts of the head region. Coming to the trunk region, the trunk consists of two pairs of limbs, a pair of forelimbs and a pair of hind limbs. The two limbs are unequal as you can see in the diagram. The hind limb is used for different purposes like while in water it is used for swimming, while on land it is used for walking. Also the leaping process as well as burrowing. So major functions are done by the hind limbs. That's why the hind limbs are comparatively more muscular. The hind limbs have 5 fingers or 5 digits as you can see in the diagram. So the hind limb has 5 digits, whereas the forelimb has only 4 digits. In the frogs like Rana tigrina, we can find the sexual dimorphism. Now, what is sexual dimorphism? The male and female, they have slight characteristic differences. In the case of male, the vocal sacs are present. These structures are absent in the female. The vocal sacs help in amplifying the sound, that is, increasing the sound during the copulation time. The males also have the copulatory pad or the amplexary pad, and this pad is mainly present in the forefinger of the forelimb, that is, the first finger of the forelimb. So, in the first digit, as you can see in the diagram, a large bulbous structure present called as the copulatory pad or the amplexary pad, and these structures are absent in the female. So, male have additional structures like male has vocal sacs and the copulatory pad, and these structures are absent in the case of female. As you open the frog, the body cavity contains all the systems. It has all the organ systems. For example, the digestive system, the respiratory system, the circulatory system, the excretory system, and so on. So let's continue with these type of system. Before that, let's quickly revise the topic. So we are looking at Rana tigrina, commonly called as the Indian bullfrog. The body has two parts, head and the trunk. The skin is smooth because scales are absent. Skin consists of mucus gland which produce the mucus which keeps the skin moist and slippery. The moist skin helps in respiration. An interesting fact is these animals do not drink water. They absorb the water through the skin. So the moist skin also help in the absorption of water. Coming to the structure, the dorsal surface is olive green with irregular spots and the ventral surface is pale yellow. The body structures. Head consists of parts like the mouth, the nostrils, one pair of bulged eyes with a nictitating membrane, and the tympanum or the eardrum behind the eye. The trunk consists of one pair of forelimbs and a pair of hind limbs which are unequal in size. The longer hind limbs help in swimming, walking, leaping, and burrowing. 5 digits are present in the hind limbs, whereas the forelimbs has only 4 digits. Besides this, we can also find sexual dimorphism, the sexual differences between the male and female. Male have two additional structures called as the vocal sacs and the copulatory pads. These structures are absent in the case of female. The copulatory pads are present in the first digit of the forelimb. So, for the more details on the anatomical structures of Rana tigrina, we'll continue with the next part. So, students, we start with the systems in the frog. The first system is the digestive system. The digestive system in the frog consists of two main structures, that is, the alimentary canal and the digestive glands. The alimentary canal starts with mouth. This opens into a short and broad cavity called as the buccal cavity. The buccal cavity next opens into pharynx. Pharynx is continuous with the esophagus, and this will open into the stomach. From the stomach, we have the small intestine continuation, which opens into the rectum, and this will open outside through an opening called as the cloaca. So, alimentary canal starts with the opening called as the mouth and opens out of the body through the cloaca. The two common digestive glands are liver and the pancreas. Let's see about the structure in detail. Let's quickly see the alimentary canal. It starts with the first opening called as the mouth. The mouth leads into very short and broad the buccal cavity and the pharynx. So it can be also called as the buccopharyngeal cavity. This then opens into a short esophagus. The esophagus open into the structure called as the stomach. From the stomach we have the small intestine. The first part of the small intestine, which is a U-shaped structure, is called as the duodenum. The small intestine opens into the structure called as the rectum. And this rectum will open into a common passage called as the cloaca. So, cloaca is a common passage for digestive, excretory, and reproductive structure. So these are the basic parts of the alimentary canal. The first part of the alimentary canal has the tongue. The tongue is attached to the anterior part of the buccal. A long, sticky, bilobed tongue is present in the case of the frogs. The two sticky lobes help in capture of the prey, like insects and the other animals. So they will flick out the tongue and they help in capture of the food materials or the prey. So let's see how the food is taken. As the food is trapped into the bilobed tongue, it is swallowed into the buccal. Through the esophagus, it reaches the stomach. The wall of the stomach consists of some enzyme producing cells, and they will produce the gastric juice and HCl. This gastric juice and HCl help in the partial digestion of the food. This partially digested food is now called as the chyme. Now this chyme slowly moves into the intestine, and the first part of the intestine is duodenum. As the acidic chyme reaches the duodenum, two other glands become active, that is, the liver and the pancreas. The largest gland in the body is the liver, present on the other side of the stomach. Liver produces bile, and this bile is stored in a small structure called as the gallbladder. The second gland is pancreas. Pancreas is present below the stomach in the U-shaped loop of the duodenum. The enzymes produced by pancreas are called as the pancreatic juice. If you see in the diagram, the duct from the gallbladder and the duct from the pancreas will combinedly open into the duodenum, and this duct is called as the CBD, that is, the common bile duct. The common bile duct carries both bile as well as the pancreatic juice. So in the duodenum, two secretions are added. These are bile and the pancreatic juice. Bile is responsible for emulsification of fats. That is, this is the first step in the digestion of the fats. This will make the fat soluble for better type of digestion. On the other hand, the pancreas consists of different type of enzymes which help in digestion of both carbohydrates and proteins. The step-by-step digestion starts in the duodenum, and as the chyme moves into the small intestine, the digestion is completed. So small intestine will help in the completion of the digestion. Whole of the intestine consists of finger-like projections, and these foldings are called as villi, and each villi has much more foldings called as the microvilli. The villi and microvilli are responsible to increase the area for absorption. So we can say that the small intestine mainly help in complete digestion as well as absorption of the nutrients. After the food is digested, the undigested waste is accumulating in the rectum and which is thrown out through the cloaca. So the rectum consists of the undigested waste materials. And this is thrown out of the cloaca. So let's quickly revise the digestive system. The digestive system in the frog consists of two parts, that is, the alimentary canal and the digestive glands. The alimentary canal starts from the mouth into the buccal, the pharynx, the esophagus, stomach, intestine region, rectum, and this rectum opens outside to a common chamber called as cloaca. The two most common glands are the liver and the pancreas. Let's understand the structure of the food digestion. As the animal has a bilobed tongue, which will help in Animal has a bilobed tongue with a sticky knobs at the end. This bilobed tongue will help in capture of the prey or the food material like insect. This food is kept inside the buccal region, then it is swallowed into the stomach region. In the wall of the stomach consists of the gastric glands. The wall of the stomach consists of different type of enzyme producing cells, and they mainly produce the gastric juice and HCl. This will help in the partial digestion of the food, and the partially digested food is called as chyme. Now, this chyme will enter into the C-shaped turning called as a duodenum. Liver produces bile, and this bile is stored in the gallbladder. The duct of gallbladder enters into the duodenum. The next gland is called as the pancreas. Pancreas will produce pancreatic juice, which help in digestion of almost every substance. The bile produced from the liver help in emulsification of fats, and the pancreatic juice helps in this digestion of carbohydrates and proteins. So there is a common duct from the gallbladder and the pancreas, and this common duct is called as the bile duct, that is the CBD, the common bile duct. Continue with this. Frog also have intestine, which consists of finger-like villi, and on the tip of the villi we have much more foldings called as the microvilli. Intestine mainly helps in the completion of digestion and the absorption of the digested food material. All the undigested waste is accumulated in the rectum and it's thrown out through the cloacal opening. So this is about the digestive system in the frog. Let's continue with respiratory system. Let's see about the respiratory system in frog, that is the Rana tigrina. Now, as you know, the adult frog is terrestrial but can also grow in the water due to the dual life. So they live on land as well as water. So in water, the total respiration is done through the skin. As the skin is moist, it will help for the exchange of the dissolved oxygen in the water. This type of exchange is by simple diffusion method from high concentration to low concentration. So in the water, the only possible type of respiration is through the skin, or we can say the type of respiration is cutaneous respiration. Let's see the respiratory mode on land. On land, the frog uses three methods for respiration: the buccal cavity, the skin, and the lungs. As you have seen in the digestive system, the buccal cavity is a short and broad structure which is having lot of mucus, so this is moist. And this moisture will help in the exchange of gases by simple diffusion method. The second one is the skin, the cutaneous respiration. As we have seen for the water, the skin is also moist and help in the exchange of the gases. This exchange is also through simple diffusion method. The respiration through lungs is called as pulmonary respiration. Frog has one pair of lungs. These are pink in color and present in the upper region of the trunk, which can be called as the thorax. The structures are the buccopharyngeal cavity, as you can see in the diagram. This is the opening of the nostrils, which opens into the buccal region, and this will again lead to the pinkish structures called as the lungs. So quickly revising, the respiratory system in the frog occurs on both water as well as on land. In the case of water, it is completely cutaneous in nature, where the skin is kept moist through the water The exchange will occur through the dissolved oxygen present in the water by simple diffusion method. If you look at the respiration present on the land, the buccal cavity will help in buccal respiration. The skin which is kept moist will help in cutaneous respiration. All the exchange of gases is the simple diffusion method. One pair of lungs help in pulmonary respiration. These lungs are pinkish in color and present in the upper region of the trunk called as the thoracic region. Besides this, we have already seen that the frogs or phyclotherms cannot maintain constant body temperature, so they have to undergo resting or sleep condition during the summer and winter. The summer sleep is called as estivation and the winter sleep is called as hibernation. This is about the respiratory part. The next parts are circulation, excretion, nervous. We'll see in the next part of this video. Also follow the Telegram link in the description box for the daily practice papers. Keep preparing. Thank you.